So what's going on guys, Kid is here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the best Commander MOTO build in Torchlight Infinite. So in this guide I will show you what abilities and core skills you want to get. Then I will explain what are the best talents, hero traits and armor to use for in-game content. And then lastly I will show you the best gameplay and even which stats you need to prioritize so you would be able to get the best results and highest damage possible and much more. And then, just before we start, I want to put a quick disclaimer that yes, this video is sponsored, but I'm not getting paid for saying positive or negative things about the game. All that the developer said is just to give a try to this game and see if I like it. So if at any point you want to try this game out, then just click my link in the description and download Torchlight Infinite for free on PC or even mobile devices. And without any further ado, let's get right into it. So then, just before I show you all the in-depth details about the Commander MOTO build, let me first of all introduce you to Torchlight Infinite real quick, and I will explain all the strengths and weaknesses of this class. So Torchlight Infinite is a brand new upcoming ARPG game that is currently in the open beta, and it is free to play cross-platform to both mobile and PC. Unlike most majority of mobile PC cross-platform ARPG games, Torchlight Infinite is designed in a way that microtransactions won't affect the gameplay progression, and there is also no annoying daily limited timed events, meaning that you can just play the game whenever you feel like it. Gameplay and feature-wise, Torchlight Infinite has extremely fast-paced combat, quick cooldowns, lots of abilities to use, very responsive movement, and most importantly, a huge possibilities when it comes to creating a build, which later in this video you will be able to see. Aside from that, the game has a main storyline with cutscenes, a massive amount of zones to play through, even challenging bosses that will be very difficult and much more. So then let me give you a quick rundown of why I like to play this game. So Torchlight Infinite has very fun but simplistic gameplay, and I really like how many skills have short cooldowns or no cooldowns at all, so there is a massive damage potential for every class. Gameplay is the most important thing in ARPG, and Torchlight Infinite right from the start succeeds in this. Then second of all, for a cross-platform game, the UI on all devices looks very clean and colorful. So unlike other games, Torchlight Infinite won't clutter your experience with pop-up notifications every 30 seconds. Then the next one is that if you're a long-time viewer of my channel, then you will know that I really love to make different builds and customize different classes to find the best and highest damage builds for every single playstyle and player. And Torchlight Infinite offers more than 280 skills with different combinations. So in short, this game is very fun and has very in-depth character building and customization. And then lastly, I could go on and on about how good Torchlight Infinite is, but then it would take away the joy that you would get it from just experiencing all these cool features yourself. So then for the last thing, I want to mention that this game has really fun story and cutscenes. And stay tuned till the end of the video, because after I will show you the build, we will take a closer look at the Torchlight Infinite lore and much more. So with all this said, now let's move over to the main part which you've been waiting for, and it is the Commander MOTO best build. So this class is a typical summoner that utilizes minions that will fight by your side and do the most damage possible. If you choose to play this build, then the only way to do damage will be by summoning your minions, which then will do all the damage for you. This is by far the easiest build to play, as the only thing that you will need to do is run around the map while pointing in the general direction where your minion should be fighting. So with all this said, now let's move over to the skill setup. And for our main 5 skills, we want to use the Summon Machine Guard, then we use again the same skill twice, which is called the Summon Machine Guard, then for the next one we use the Blurry Steps, then the Dark Gate, and then lastly the Elemental Shock. So then for the first ability we have the Summon Machine Guard, and we want to slot in the Maniacal Army, Bloodthirsty Slaughter, Critical Strike Damage Increase, Mechanical Modification, and Steamroll. Then for the second skill we again use the same stuff, and later in the video I will explain on why we want to use this twice. Then for the third skill we want to use the Blurry Steps, and we slot in the Mass Effect and Cooldown Reduction. Then the next skill is called the Dark Gate, and we want to slot in the Extended Duration and Cooldown Reduction. And then lastly, for the last main ability we have the Elemental Shock, and we slot in the Extended Duration, Mania, and Pain Amplification. And then lastly for the extra 3, we have the Steadfast, then the second one called the Fearless, and then lastly we have the Weapon Amplification. So then let's move over to the next part, which is our gear setup. And for the helmet we want to go with the Dragon Guardian's Face Guard. Or if you are leveling, then only equip helmets that have the highest armor numbers, then the highest minion damage percentage, and then lastly the highest additional armor percentage. Then for our chest armor, we want to pick the Gigant's Guardian's Lamellar. And then again, we focus on getting high armor, high minion damage, and any type of resistance that we can get. Then for the next one, we want the Warden's Breastpin, and we focus on getting minion attack speed, minion maximum life, and minion maximum damage. Then for the fourth armor, we want the Dragon's Guardian's Handguard, and we focus on getting armor, maximum life increase, and any type of armor percentage increase. Then for the next one, we have the Winter of Origin belt, and we want to get the maximum armor, minion attack and cast speed increase, and as high maximum life as possible. Then for the next one, we have the Dragon Guardian's Foot Guard, and we focus on getting high armor, high maximum life, and movement speed. Then for one of the last ones, we have the Divine Punishment Ring, and we aim to get as high maximum life, minion damage, and all the resistance that we can. Then for the next one, we have the Horn Ring, and we want to focus on life regeneration per every second. And then lastly, both minion damage and minion critical strike increase. And then lastly, we want to get 2 weapons of the same type. So here we have the Interlocking Soul, and we want, like per most items, focus on getting our minion damage and minion maximum life increase. And then lastly, if possible on weapons, try to get the strength and intelligence attribute numbers as high as possible, because they will become even more powerful at the end game. So now let's move over to the next part of the build, which is the talent tree. So we want to select the God of Machines, Machinist, and Warlock talent categories. And then for the God of Machines, this is how your talent tree should look like till 15, and then this is how it should look like till 18. And then lastly, for our core talents, we want to select the Shrink Back, which will give us a 50% chance to gain the barrier effect when we are taking damage. And then for the second one, we want to get the Mighty Guard, because this will give our minions +2 skill levels. So then moving over to the second one, which is the Machinist talent tree, and this is how it should look like till 15, and then this is how it should look like till 24. Then for the first core talent, we want to select the Boss, and this will give us +1 maximum synthetic troop quantity and +50% troop duration. And then for the second one, we get the Kinetic Conversion, because this will give us 1% life regeneration per every second, but in return we will take 20% more damage while moving. On paper this doesn't seem like a fair trade, but when you actually try this build out in the endgame dungeons, the enemy rarely gets to you, because your minions just eliminate them super quickly and you're always on the move, so this talent is very useful. And then moving over to the last talent tree, which is the Warlock, and this is how our first 15 will look like, and then this is how till 24 it will look like. And then last but not the least, for our special talent, we want to select the Merciless, because in a quick summary, this talent will reduce our cooldowns by 20%. And then for the second one, we select the Off the Beaten Track, and this will give us +3 support skill levels, which will help us to increase our minion damage even more. So in a quick summary, these 3 talent categories are by far the best ones, which will make our build do super high damage, and these stats will become even more powerful at the late end game. So if at any point I went too fast, then just feel free to pause the video at any time and copy these exact talent nodes. And then with all of this said, now we have come to the last and final build setup part, which is our hero trait. And here this is how it should look like at level 80. So as you can see, each few levels you will unlock more traits. So then at level 32 select the first option, then at level 62 and 80 select both of the second options, and that's it. So then moving over to the last part, and it is the Commander MOTO gameplay. And like I have said many times, this class and build is very strong, but at the same time very easy and simple to use. So all that you want to do is in a DPS rotation is to summon maximum amount of minions, which you want to use the Summon Machine Guard skill. Then we keep using the Blurry Step skill to control the minions in which general direction they should fight. And then lastly, when you're ready to do big damage, then use the Dark Gate and Elemental Shock right away when they come off cooldown. And then from here we repeat the same rotation all over again. So then with all this said, now let's move over to the last and final part of this video, where I will quickly explain the lore of Torchlight Infinite and what is the story behind the Commander MOTO. So in Torchlight Infinite, we are an adventurer on a journey to restore light and brilliance. When Ember Tech submerged to every corner on the land of Leptis 200 years after Torchlight 2, all lives thrive under the Ember power. But beyond the prosperous civilization, the darkness that never stopped corrupting begins to consume and outwit lives. It is then a team of heroes with elite powers emerges. They confront darkness in the eye as they embark in the epic quest to fight back the darkness corrupted Embrons. And then here is a quick story which will describe the Commander MOTO. So MOTO walks to the blackboard to write his name for the class, but could only reach the very bottom of it. MOTO stretches his arm to finally finish the last character. One of the downsides of being a dwarf is to live with all the high furnitures in the school. Laughter lasted the entire time till he finally finished writing his name. But Moto isn't mad about the laughter at all. He brings out a small ember mech bird from his pocket, slowly winds it up, and releases his pinching fingers. The noise is paused at once, and all eyes glued on the mech bird, taking off from his palm into the air just like a real one. So yeah, I really like these small background stories that each explain a class that we play, and if you are ever interested in a full lore video for Torchlight Infinite, then let me know that, and I might make a full dedicated video on this topic, but for now, that's about it. So I really do appreciate everyone for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other good Torchlight Infinite guides or builds that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And if you are still watching and want to experience this game for yourself, then click the link in the description and download Torchlight Infinite for free. And of course, thanks to them for sponsoring this video. And then lastly, while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe, and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you wouldn't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have an amazing day and I will see you in the next one, so take it easy, peace.